Hello everybody and welcome back to Pokemon Ranger. So in the last part we definitely went through a big scale of the olive jungle so far, trying to get the Politoed back from the rock squad. And speaking of which, we're now gonna be taking on another grunt who has some two Paras and also a Beautifly. Now Beautifly, while it may look very basic at best, but when a Beautifly starts spreading its scales around like that, yeah, those scales can actually hurt. Yeah, and the Beautifly really likes to spread them out. Make sure you be careful not to get yourself hit by those scales. But anyways, now as we're just gonna go through this, now since we've caught at least a few Pokemon that could utilize the bug type Poke Assist, yeah, I may as well talk about that now. Now, what the bug Poke Assist does is that you form and afflict a sticky blob. A blob onto the Pokemon, leaving them immobilized. And then and as for the effectiveness, they can last either up to 10, 20, or 30 seconds. Or 30 seconds. Yeah, that's essentially how that one works. And as you can see, as you saw, as you're trying your best to climb up that, as you're trying to scale that cliff, you may get yourself interrupted by a couple of Gligars. And speaking of Gligars, all they really try to do is just to be able to charge at you, and that's really about it. But anyways, and there goes once again the grunt who has the Politoed. But anyways, now there is a glove out here. Here we go. I just want to show off what glove I could do. But anyways, now we have these smelly flowers, which just like the Oddish back at the beginning, once again also requires Gust. Which again is an ability that we cannot have here right now. So fortunately, the Pokemon that we get from the smelly flower is something that we cannot get up until now. But anyways, everyone. Now we're gonna get ourselves into our next boss fight. And I say it is actually a boss fight because this is one of the few times in the entire game that you'll ever get yourself into a battle with a Politoed. Because there are no Politoeds anywhere else in the base game. But anyways, Politoed, as you saw, your Politoads can jump really high. So essentially, just be very careful with that, considering that your Politoads can actually jump really high, so they can essentially screw over your capture loop. Oh yes, right, as you see here. Now, while the HP bar itself only goes up to like a 15, but when it goes up past 15, then the HP color itself will change. Now, as you saw, as you go up to the next 15, now as you go up to the next 15, then the color itself will become green. So that's something. And I guess I should also say about the Politoed is that, just be careful of that water attack it does too. That can also hurt too. Oh, hey Billy. So that's the problem with Pokemon captured with our new styler. What about it? it looks like those Pokemon return to wherever they came from if a ranger recaptures them. That's important to know. But why does that happen? Maybe because the ranger connects with the Pokemon on an emotional level? Maybe. How ridiculous is that? As if that would ever happen. Totally preposterous. Yeah, he may think it is preposterous, but he's gonna think otherwise later on. Ditto, are you okay? Look, it's my Politoed. It suddenly appeared in front of me as if nothing happened, and then it leaped into my arms. I couldn't help it. My eyes filled up with tears. Yeah, I never bet they were. Thank you so very much. I'm not letting my Politoed go ever again. Yeah, you better not. But anyways, for that, it's mission clear. Okay, my tears are dry. Let's head back to the ranger base with the biggest smiles ever. Yeah, maybe more so on you, dude. Yeah, you're probably only gonna have the biggest smile in your whole lifetime. Okay, and since we just cleared another mission, I bet you can probably guess what that means. Yep. You sure were mentored by Spenser. It shows. I'm really grateful that you recovered Percy's Politoed, and thanks to you, we're starting to get a little better idea about the Garunk Squad. So, Ditto, I hereby certify you as Ranger Rank 5. Yep, it's time for another Ranger rank, bitches. And now that our Ranger rank 5, we can now utilize the Rock type Poke Assist, and that's it. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, but there's also this. But there's also this too. We can now, we essentially now have our we now have a partner gauge up to 3 now. Which of course means now our Minun is going to become even more stronger now. Is your leader Spenser, Joel, Info City, and I all worked on the same team when we were younger. Spenser and Joel, those two were outstanding rangers. Even back then. I wouldn't be surprised if they went to work for the Union eventually. Huh? What about me? That's not gonna happen. The slow and laid back atmosphere of Summerland is once a best for me. But with the Garunk Squad showing up in the Olive Jungle, I won't be able to kick it back now. Yeah, just like you did within the capture challenge, huh? Oh yeah, I better report this to Professor Hastings. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be reporting it. Seeing as you're here in Summerland, why don't you kick back and enjoy some rest and recreation and reincarnation? Yeah, we're not gonna have any time for that. Let me thank you just this one last time. Thanks, Ditto. Again, no problem. Weren't you scared of the bad guys in the jungle? I couldn't take it. We don't think we'll really be scared of that one bit. I can't deal with anything like criminals or teams or gangs or anything like that. All I've done is help keep the sea natural and stuff like that. Alright. Yeah, sure, something. But anyways, next we now head on out. And once again, we got a message from Spenser. Excuse me. I have a new job for you. I need you in Falls City immediately. All right. So with that said, we are basically done in Summerland for now. But of course, we will be back later. Yeah. Much more sooner than you would think. But anyways, that's as we head back to the harbor. Here he is! Long time no see, Spenser. No, welcome back, Ditto. You've gotten quite hand. Dewey. Karen told me about that Politoed abduction. It sounds like you came up huge. I'll have to get the details from you later when we have the time. I'd like to assign you your next job. So swing by the ranger base when you're ready to go. I'll have to confer. I have to confer with the others. So I'll wait for you there. And you're gonna be waiting for a little bit while because there is actually something that I want to do first. And that is if you recall those trees that we saw back when we first encountered that guy who essentially abused his Machoke. Yeah, I figured I may as well check out those trees out to see if there are actually any other Pokemon in them. Just so I can find out if there are actually any like Pokemon in them. And also, and not to mention, since we are going to get into our next mission, as soon as we get ourselves back to the ranger base anyway. Yeah, I figured I may as well get my new segment of the energy gauge back up, so that we can actually start to utilize our new, that new power from mining. Anyways, there we go. And with that is once again that Meowth. Alright, Meowth. Oh yes, right. And I guess I should explain this well too. Now, this is actually, I believe this is the only ranger title where you may have to repeat the same target clears that you've already done. Yeah, as you saw with that wooden fence. Yeah, for some odd reason that even though you've cleared them once, but for some odd reason they just come back. Yeah, but thankfully, this was something that was fixed within the next game, where the only time that you ever had to redo a target clear is if you actually have to get yourself a Pokemon from it. Like for example, for example, Oddish. Yeah. Yeah, but anyways. Yeah, as you saw, yeah, I had to get into it. Yeah, I had to get in and out of it. But anyways, now let's head on back to the base. Now, welcome back, Ditto. The three of us were discussing how to deal with the Grunt Squad. Yeah, I bet you are. After showing up at Summerland, they've gone back to hiding. What worries me are the stylers that the Grunt Squad were using. According to Cameron's report, they sound similar to my stolen Super Styler. It can easily capture any Pokemon without the expertise of a ranger. 2. It enables the use of Pokemon's abilities over and over, even for criminal deeds. While there appear to be minor changes, those stylers are undoubtedly based on from my Super Styler. worse, there's something that's something even a bigger concern. And what's that? Professor, is this what worries you? What exactly? The Super Styler, which isn't fully developed, could harm Pokemon if they are forced to use them, use the user abilities. That could possibly happen. Hey, Professor, do you remember what Cameron wrote in his report? When Ditto captured the Garunk Squad's Pokemon, they were automatically released. Could that possibly mean their Styler hasn't been perfected yet? That's correct, Spenser. That reasoning is sound. It appears as if the Garunk Squad Styler cannot fully control Pokemon yet. Yeah, not just yet. When a Pokemon under their control is captured by a Ranger, it appears to return to its natural state. The sense of justice in the hearts of Rangers must have an effect on such a Pokemon. However, we still must do something before the Garunk Squad perfects their Styler. Yeah, that is something that we obviously need to get done. In other words, we don't have the time to waste chatting here. Alright, how it goes. Professor, you're as impatient as always. Yeah, I bet he isn't. For the time being, Spenser and I will concentrate on gathering more intelligence. And what about us? By the way, Ditto, there is a new job I want you to handle. Ditto, do you remember the Croca Tunnel? Hey, it's the one that you escorted the Professor through? Yeah, how can we forget? The tunnel is a vital traffic corridor that joins Raintown and Falls City. However, it's been blocked off by rock falls. Citizens on either side of the tunnel are up in arms over this. Yeah, now they are. Even though it's been like a couple of hours since that moment. They clear the rock falls that are blocking the Croca Tunnel. I think this mission will be difficult for anyone to handle alone. So I've asked a Falls City Ranger to assist you. The Ranger should be on the way to the mission site already. I'm counting on you. Ditto. Yep, you can definitely count on us. But anyways, everyone, yep. Now we essentially are gonna be going back to the tunnel so that we can finally start clearing out those rock falls. So yeah, that will definitely will be something to go through. Now, will it? Okay, yeah, Spenser, yeah, you said say something. But anyways, everyone, with that said, that should be all I'm gonna do this part. And so to the next one, I'll see you guys next time.